Hey guys, I'm with the lead coder of Beyond Flesh and Blood. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Okay, yeah, it is a third-person action adventure in the Unreal Engine, set in a post-apocalyptical version of Manchester 200 years in the future.
Do you play as this character, or?
No, this is just a trooper who will fight alongside you. You actually play as a 12-foot tall mech, which is quite powerful, and as you can see, can tear people to pieces with ease. Yeah.
So did you design the characters? Or?
I didn't know. We have a wonderful concept artist on our team who came up with all of the ideas, and we have a full team back in Manchester who is working away on this. So we're aiming to have this game out in first quarter of 2015, and this is the first time that it's been shown to the public. The game is, we're aiming to bring the game out on Xbox One and PS4, and we've already been greenlit on Steam.
So you're from Manchester?
I'm actually from the northeast of England, but I've lived in Manchester for the past 10 years now. Most of our team is from Manchester, and yes, yeah, it is nice to make a game about our hometown, and yeah, it's good to make a game that isn't in the States or in London. Yeah, most games they'll have Big Ben, and that's like the token gesture to say that this is London. Whereas we're trying to actually make a game that it captures the essence of Manchester, but obviously with our spin, because it is in a post-apocalyptical world. And yeah.
So is this actually scaled on Manchester?
This is Albert Square. If you've ever been to Manchester. That is the Prince Albert Memorial there, and that is Town Hall here. This is one of the major landmarks of town, and if you've ever had a night out there, you should recognise a few places.
So what actually made the city like it is there then?
This is 100 years after a nuclear war. In the story of our game, the people who survived the war have been on a space station in stasis for 100 years, waiting for the irradiation to calm down, and they have finally come back to reclaim the surface of the Earth, and they've found out that things aren't quite what they would expect. We're not really talking about the single-player story at the moment. This is just our horde mode, which we've made to show all of the combat mechanics and just to make sure that everything actually works first.
So is there going to be multiplayer in this? Because
at the moment we're thinking about your split screen, but this is a single-player focused game.
I mean, multiplayer is online.
No, there will be your split screen and there may be co-op, but we are definitely making a single-player focused game. We are trying to tell a story here, and while we want to look into the future to making a multiplayer version of this. At the moment, that isn't happening.
You don't want to distract the fans from the story?
No. We are focused on a single-player game. We are not trying to have multiplayer just to have a tick on the back of the box. We would rather do one thing well. Yeah.
I see you got a big team here. Are they all important to it, or?
Yes, we have one designer here, and then we have Lee there, who is the co-lead, and he is also a director of the company, and we have a team back in Manchester who are eagerly awaiting to see what the response is to our game.
Have you had good responses of people here?
Yes, we have. Yes, yeah. It is scary as hell when you let the public get a hold of your game for the first time, and I have a long list of bugs that I need to fix, but it seems to be going well.
And what it sounds like? Like music or?
We have a record label that is based in Manchester who's doing a custom soundtrack for our game, which we'll be talking about that more in the future.
So you're a real local game company then, using
yes, yeah. We are trying to use all of the local talents. We have ties with local businesses for ad space in the game, and yeah.
Were these t-shirts from Manchester?
I believe they were, yes, yeah. So
tried to catch you out there.
I think it all is. The only lie is that I'm not actually from Manchester, I'm from the northeast of England, but we'll let that slide.
You can't change that.
Yeah.
So is this your logo?
This is your Pixel Bomb, which, yep, because obviously we're called your Pixel Bomb Games. And yeah, but the brand that we're trying to push at the moment is Beyond Flesh and Blood.
This one's got waves. Are these waves of enemies or?
Yes, these are waves of enemies. At the moment in this map here, there are 18 waves, and it's quite tricky to get to the end of it. It is a normal horde mode, so it will ramp up with the amount of enemies that you are facing as you move through the waves.
I know you're in pre-alpha, as it says down there, but what are you going to add after EuroGamer? Has anyone put anything forward?
The main thing that we'll be adding after this is to fix all of the bugs that we have, and there are a lot of AI classes that we are holding back. This is just our test run, just to see how the public respond to this, because obviously we can't release all of the secrets that are from the single player story here, because otherwise no one would buy the actual game.
So, and the mech, is there any customization to that going to be added?
Yes. This is actually only one of the 4 mechs that you'll play in the actual game. This is the first one that you have, which is the largest and the slowest out of all of the mechs. This mech is not built for combat. It is actually like a large JCB, and what it can do is because it's so big, it can tear people to pieces. Whereas as you move up through the different marks of mechs, you will get smaller and more agile and be more combat focused with advanced weaponry, and yes.
So really it's just like the research has gone better into it as they've been on the ground longer.
Yes, an important thing to know about this game is because you are just piloting this mech, you're actually on a space station in orbit. You can't die in this game. If you die, all that happens is they've killed this mech. They will just drop in a new one from orbit, and you will instantly take over. This means that you can brute force any encounters that you have. If you can die, well, you can kill one person, die, then kill the next person. Obviously, this is a bad way to play the game, and you will be penalised on your score for doing this. And in the single player campaign, a person will comment that these mechs aren't cheap to make, and yeah.
So, is there actually anyone off the space station on the ground?
Yes, this chap here, he is one of the grunts who was on the ground. They are a bit resentful of the fact that we get to sit on the nice pampered space station while he's down in the mud and having to actually fight and be killed. And,
so
yes.
he was left, or?
He is a member of the UGR, and he's been on the space station. He was promised a better life if he serves in their army. Unfortunately, he may have been lied to by the government, and he's just finding that out now because he's on the ground. There are people who were left behind after the war. They've managed to eke out an there's strange animal life there's there too that hasn't been explained yet.
So he's started a faction then? Has he started a faction and like an army on the ground?
There is a faction on the ground who you will have contact with. At the start of the game, they are definitely hostile towards your player, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with that in the single player part of the story.
Graphically, the game looks brilliant.
Yes, one of the key tenets that we're after is to have a big budget feel on an indie price. So this will be. We haven't finalised the price yet, but it will definitely not be a full £60 box game. We are aiming for this to be a what's the best way to put it?
An indie price.
An indie price, yeah. It is a discount title, but we definitely want to give you a big bang for your buck, as it were.
Are you a big? Have you been to a convention like this before?
This is. I have. This is the first time that I've been on this side of your camera, and it's an interesting experience.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
I would just like to add that if you're interested in the game, please go to beyondfleshandblood.com, and thank you, really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, I'm with the lead coder of this game. I forgot the game.
Beyond Flesh and Blood.